What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow! Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around. Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Insurance Company Limited, where you get more coverage for less.
When the star them there, we are top man, we take charge. Magnum we drink and we are shell down bars. Blast like a star with some gallopers. Overdo it, we take it too far. Take charge, take charge.
We are hot gal, we set the trend. Magnum we drink for the top man them. Wine with the style, no stop from spend. Hot blend, back bend, and take charge, take charge.
Magnum tonic wine for the real star them. Take charge, take charge. Must be 18 or older, drink responsibly.
A very pleasant morning to all our many viewers and listeners around the globe, on the various platforms, various time zones. By now, you should know that you're logged on to WINNFM 98.9 on your FM dial, gearing up for another episode of Voices. It's about 5 minutes past 11 o'clock in the studio, and today we have with us two lovely souls, and they're from the Ministry of Health Secretariat, as I was told. We have, shall we go ladies first, Doc? Okay, ladies first. I want to welcome to the studios of WINNFM once again, Miss Lucine Pemberton Vaughn. Yes. And we spoke just briefly yesterday, so I want to thank you for accepting the invitation. We always have some great content when you guys are here, great information to share, so thank you. As we went ladies first, we now go to Dr. Offrey. And are you the director at that particular?
Yeah, the HIV Secretariat.
All right, okay. So you're no stranger to the studios and areas of WINNFM. And today, of course, we will be discussing the nation's wealth, which is our health. Mm-hmm. Very important, fundamental topics to cover. Some of you are recapping because you guys have been here before, but it's always important to update and remind people of the things that we need to be paying attention to. So once again, welcome to the studios of WINNFM.
Thank you.
And at some point later on, we're going to open the lines for calls so we can interact with the public. I'm not sure how long you're going to be here, but we're going to make your time count. Okay? So, who shall we start with? She pointed, they all point a man first, believe me.
I think
He's the head of the house.
We will all integrate to provide the essential information,
okay,
to the public. Thank you so much for having us here. It's always a pleasure to be here, and it's always a pleasure to really communicate with the Federation and also the people,
essential.
And to remind people that our health is our responsibility, and it takes not just one but collaborative effort to ensure that we combat whatever virus or challenge or diseases that are plaguing or that are visible in the Federation. And with a holistic and multi-sectoral approach, we can actually mitigate the spread of the virus and all diseases that are present in our beautiful Federation.
I think it would be fair to say and honest to say that WINNFM would be very happy to be partnering with you on this platform.
Thank you. That's amazing. We really appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the floor is yours.
Well, thanks a lot once again. It is a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to really communicate to everyone through this medium and through every other social media platforms that we have available. The Ministry of Health has been working assiduously with different bodies to ensure that we combat the virus HIV that is in the Federation as globally as well as regionally, and we are working with international bodies as well as regional bodies to ensure that each OACS state combat the virus HIV in its entirety as it presents. And with that light, the Ministry of Health has been working hard to ensure that we provide information as needed, as necessary. We are working hard in every aspect involving schools, involving churches as well as business places to actually pass on this information, make them understand, and create forum for them to ask questions, as well as provide adequate information on prevention measures, available treatments, and ensure that they are tested, because you cannot know if you're positive or negative if you don't get tested. So we ensure that we try to bring the mountain to the people. If they can go to the mountain, we try to bring the mountain to the people. In other words, bring the test right to the doorstep to ensure that they get tested.
If I may ask a question, I know some years ago it was the whole issue of AIDS and HIV was to the forefront of everyone's consciousness. It's been some time since there's been some more mitigation. What is the current feedback that you get from the public at large? Are we a bit blasé with it, or we don't take it that seriously anymore, or think it's something of the past?
I think with my assessment, when COVID-19 came to play, a lot have been put to the back burner in terms of other viral infections like HIV itself, and afterwards, we right now working hard to take it back to the forefront. I would say that the drive for HIV, the feedback from HIV people actually think that it's not in existence. And some persons will tell you they don't know that they still have that in the kids.
That is the impression I think it was under.
Yeah, it is absurd that people still feel that it is not there. However, that's why we're trying to push so hard. Because if you feel like it's not there, that means you're not taking necessary precautions to ensure that you mitigate the chance at which you will acquire the disease. And if you lack that information, that alone is a deficit to you.
I was in a position to overhear a conversation that related to a young lady in school that had it and this and that. I was like, really? That was my reaction, really, because I thought, okay. But at that level in the school is really a very alarming prospect.
Yes, and that is why I think that we need to stop beating around the bush and really say what it is we want to accomplish. And it is simply, let's talk sex. Let's talk sex. And I can't believe that in 2023 that sex is still a taboo. And as you said that somebody was in school?
In school.
Yes, and I want to put this talk out that we need to engage children with the age-appropriate information. And we need to be honest and real and upfront with children, because most of them have phones anyway. Mm-hmm. And so we have already exposed them to the World Wide Web, lots of information and lots of people there
and
to
lots of misinformation.
Very good. And so we need to have that one-on-one talk, helping them to understand their sexuality, because we can't just jump to HIV and STIs. We need to understand who we are, that we are sexual beings, and our responsibility as well. So I don't subscribe to people not thinking that HIV and AIDS is no longer around. I believe that it is an attempt to sidestep their responsibility. Because look at it, nobody wants to be infected with HIV. But when you ask them, do you use a condom? The answer is always no. Most of the times, no.
I don't think that we can say we had one-on-one conversations with our kids prior to, before. But what you're saying now, this drives the urgency for that dialogue. Or is there to be a collaboration with the Ministry of Education to get that sorted?
Yes, actually, in that light, we are working seriously with various government parastatals to ensure that this is achieved. And one of the departments we work with is Ministry of Education. We partner with them to reach out to schools. So we can go into schools, different schools, up to even primary school, I think. And then, as she indicated, that we prevent age-related information. We are straight up with them, and they are really open to us. And when this information is passed on to them, I believe information that we have or they are free to talk to us about, most of them can't even say it to the parent. And that creates an avenue for us to
What would be the
really help.
ideal program for our platform for that? In your estimation?
Yes.
I know she's trying to jump in on that
No,
one. But
you go ahead, doctor.
What would be the ideal? What would it look like?
Yeah, you can.
And the
respond to
frequency
that.
of it?
Well, the ideal platform is the home, is the first agent of, it is the first tool. It is the first school. And children have to learn these things from their parents. And if parents are not
Informed.
and equipped, then they themselves must sense that need to go to find information. So come out. Come and contact us. Get a counselor. You need to be that force in your child's life concerning sex education, or else someone else on the street will teach your child. And I'm certain that we know the outcome of that already. So that first school begins at home.
But if the parents, as you indicated a while ago, and really practicing, having the best practice in terms of protecting themselves, etc., how would they pass on that information? If they're not practicing and leading by example, will they be open to having conversations with the children?
Okay, and then I just said to seek help. So we are also here to help themselves to help their children. Then we go into the primary schools now. I believe that every primary school should have a counselor. I think that we put more into the high schools, but the first 5 to 8 years of that child is very crucial. I think that it is the Catholics that give me a child up to age 8, and I have that individual for life. What we are finding out when we go into the high schools, sometimes it's already too late.
Yes.
Because they would have mixed and
They
rubbed shoulders
self-educate themselves with the cell phones.
and peer pressure
Yes.
at that age. So we need to infiltrate their minds at an early age and help them make responsible,
well-informed decisions.
right, well-informed decisions, and teach them that their choices have consequences. And from that early age, they should be taught how to say no.
Yes, and it actually still plays back so strong to the parenting, because even the good book says, train up a child in a way he should go, for when it's old, it's not depart from it. Actually, if you want to fashion a tree to grow a certain way, it starts from you bending it and tying it down. In other words, you're creating a pattern for that tree to grow. So if you start, it all boils down to the parents seeing the need to get that information. Start from an early age. I know my child is too young for me to tell her that. You have to start. They need to know what a boy is. Depends on age. What a boy is, what a girl is. They ask, why do I have a penis? Why do I have all of those information based on the age? You relate and educate them. When it goes beyond the level where you are informed, then you seek help by either reaching out to the Ministry of Health and the HIV Secretariat, and we will provide a counselor to help you out, or we partner, because we also partner with Gender Affairs to ensure that, we work together to help the people to get the help that, provide the help that they need. However, the parents have to see the need to look and search for the information. One of the things we are also doing is to see how we can create a guideline, sexual health guideline for parents and children. In other words, that will be a guideline where a parent can have knowledge or acquired knowledge to communicate to the child based on the different age bracket. And this also, one of the things we are doing is reaching out to the schools and having teachers-parent association. So when they have the teacher-parent association, we are invited.
there, okay.
So we go there to inform the parents, because some of them truly, they are uninformed. You know, you can't give what you don't have, literally. So if they don't have the knowledge, they won't know what to do. And some of them are, we see children raising children. You know, maturity is not a function of age, but also exposure, basically. So if they're not exposed to that information, they are still limited based on the capacity to really help the child to grow and also make right decisions.
So we got a problem.
We have a major problem. And so
What's
it
the
has
phrase?
started.
Houston, we got a problem.
So
And
you know,
bad habits.
yeah, it actually starts from there. So we do that, and some of the children are there. The parents are there to ask questions, and we bring it in so much to a low level where they can really relate and really understand without actually make it to be more complex.
So when we sit, you see this as a crisis, a growing crisis?
Of course.
It is if we don't actually raise the standard against it. Right
I am
now.
getting that, but I want to know from your
Yes.
perspective as a professional, a doctor, exactly you would have seen what happened in the past. You would have had examples from other territories, how it's playing out in the Federation. What are some of the drastic measures beyond what you're implementing, you're suggesting? Because if it's a crisis, it's got to be at the forefront of our concerns.
Yeah, I think that should be one of the things. While we're doing this, we have to ensure that every parastatal, like in terms of the government parastatal, should partner with the Ministry of Health in terms of even with the HIV Secretariat, as well as the HPU, Health Promotion Unit, to ensure that this information is passed on to them. It's very vital that we should be integrated in every aspect. I feel like we should have an integrated policy that really will help. Like in all the schools, basically, there should be at least 2-3 times in each of the semester we must be represented. So we can actually pass that information to them.
I saw yesterday a billboard up at outside JNF that's reminding people to be more informed about their COVID status and some of the practices that they should still adhere to. Mm-hmm. I've not seen one that relates to HIV and AIDS.
Yes,
Okay, I'm going to let you mull on that. We're going to pause at this point to get in the word from our sponsors.
Okay.
And we'll look at some of the platforms we can use. Okay. So, downtime to make some money for Caesar.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow! Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around. Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
TDC for service, TDC for quality. TDC your company, TDC for service, TDC for quality. TDC your company. Together we succeed, building our strong community, pressing onward to our destiny. One love, one family. Together we succeed. Let the whole world see. Yes, this is 50.
Back in the studios of WINNFM 98.9, and we in another episode of Voices. Today we have us, our guest in the studio is Dr. Offrey and Miss Lucine Pemberton Vaughan, and they're from the Ministry of Health Secretariat, and we're discussing health-related issues, specifically AIDS and HIV, and the presence that is still with us that is vastly overlooked for a variety of reasons. And we're discussing programs and outreach methods to get the public more informed, etc. And in the interim, we were discussing approaches. Somebody sent me, is one of our main contributors, healing. He says there's an African proverb which says healing is not complete until it's holistic. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we were at the point, we were discussing, what were we talking about the point when we woke off?
We're talking about the approach we have towards addressing it in the primary.
And we agreed it's a crisis.
Yes.
We spoke about the outreach to the schools.
Yes.
Specifically at the primary school level, the high school. At that stage, it's a bit too late to reach those students because they would have informed themselves or misinformed themselves via their cell phones and stuff like that.
And peer pressure.
And some parents are not even well equipped to share the information because they themselves are not informed.
Yes.
So there's a vicious circle of not knowing, not caring, but unaware, right? So we have the program that you're trying to implement. What about are there donor agencies that you can tap into? Because this would be costly. I mentioned a billboard I saw that's related to COVID-19, etc. I haven't seen any that relates to educating the public about the still prevalent issues of HIV and AIDS. I know there in the past there have been some programs where you guys were putting out there to the public, even during COVID. There was a jingle called Cover Up and Cover Down, etc. And I'm wondering, had I not spoken to you yesterday, down at the ferry terminal, if we'll have this conversation now, because this is a very, very serious issue affecting not only us but the next generation. What is the cooperation? What are you getting from maybe government agencies, donor agencies, etc., etc.?
Thank you for that question. I think it's vital. You can't really function efficiently with less resources to really achieve the goal. In other words, I can't really, you can ask me to dig a well and give me a fork. It's not visible. It will take me forever. And if you want a drastic change, which is necessary and needed, without the necessary effort to really and resources to really agitate and help to really accomplish that, we are only defeating the purpose. We are not being proactive but reactive. And we do have, there are agencies before now, going back before now, a couple years ago, we have donors that were available and ready to assist. However, based on our presentation and based on the status quo where we are in terms of country resources, those donors have retrieved, and some are still retrieving. In other words, if the percentage they were helping was about 100%, now it's about 20% or less. However, so they are depending on each individual OSCE state's country to really finance and fund each of their activities. So as of couple, the last meeting I attended, health stakeholders meeting I attended in a different country, representing the states. Most of those donors, like CAFA and some other donors, are retrieving. They are only reminding us that they are retrieving from the assistance they provide to the OSCE states. And it all boils down to each country. So if the country do not see the need to invest in a major program as such, it will only go down to the dogs, and it will affect our health. In other words, the health of a nation is the wealth of the nation. So it's kind of very challenging, I would say, at this point, knowing that all of those donors we have are really retrieving, and we hoping that that the country itself would put more effort in ensuring that the goals that we've set for ourselves as a country can be achieved.
Could it be that these donor agencies are looking at the percentage in each country as a yardstick to providing assistance?
You know, it all boils down to the country's advancement based on presentation. You know, so if your country is presented as being advanced, being well-to-do, as such, those donors will retrieve. They'll go to countries that are less well-to-do. As such, you know, they will want to finance those persons. So if our country is considered to be a country that's well-to-do, well-off and well-to-do, then they will greatly start retrieving, and then we would be expected to really function, you know, by financing our activities in country. So,
I have an idea, a concept by which we can give some support to this.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, you were indicating you want to speak about prevention measures.
Okay. Well, I was saying that HIV and AIDS is not just a health issue. It is a developmental issue. And HIV is everybody's business. So we cannot think that HIV and AIDS should just be left up to the Ministry of Health and the government. We need all hands on deck, all organizations. So the churches, the CSO, the schools, every ministry, and then it boils down on a more personal level. We cannot wait for anybody to do what we can do, and we have some simple tips. Prevention, ABCs of prevention. And we always say that an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure, right? So we have the ABCs. Abstinence is still in style. We can abstain. Yes, and sometimes we speak of it like that is just for the school children. But if as adults we are not responsible enough to handle the challenges that comes with sex, then we need to leave it alone until we have gotten ourselves ready.
That's a lot of discipline.
Yes.
That will be required.
And that is why we are working on the school children, primary age, where they are taught good health habits, because bad habits are hard to break. I have a friend. I have a client who he has multiple partners. But you know that he always uses a condom. He said from the first time he started, he told himself, I have to use a condom. So discipline, it starts here in the mind, the greatest sex organ. So abstinence, you can do it. Be faithful. A lot of us say that we are faithful to 2 persons, faithful to 3 persons. I've heard that.
I've never heard it before.
Oh, yeah.
I'm being educated.
Yes. I had a client nurse. I have just 3 partners. And
just 3?
Yes, and I'm not going anywhere outside of that.
So you have a love circle? And they protect themselves?
No, because he feels that he is safe with these 3. Okay, but he doesn't know how many if those 3 have 3 more. Right? So you can make this work if both of you are committed to the relationship, but you know that one person can't really be 100% sure of the other individual. So that itself has some limits. C, so that's we have dealt with A, abstinence. B, be faithful. Then C, correct, consistent condom use. Correct, consistent condom use. C. And some people start off good when I first see you, then we first meet and they don't know you. So they cover up or they cover down, sorry. But then as time goes on,
get comfortable and
comes
trusting.
Off. And that is in the relationship, but even in the act itself, the first 5 minutes, they start with the condom, and then somebody says, this is getting in the way of my pleasure, and they take it off. Simple things that you can do for you, that the government, it doesn't matter how much we preach or how much finances is poured into it. When it boils down to the boil down, you have to make that decision for yourself. And I know persons who said, my partner, I trust my partner. I only have one partner. Already you are putting your health outcomes in somebody else's hands. So it has nothing to do with your partner. This is something that you have to decide to do for you. For at the end of the day, nobody gives you HIV. You would have taken it, and in most instances, taken it willingly too. D, do the test. Okay.
I thought it's the ABC.
No, ABC. When
You're on to D.
If I tell you, say you C, you can stop at D? No. And we are at before so condom. But guess what? You still have to include that D, which is doing the test. Because as I said, you could be faithful to your partner, but how do you know? And so you need something whereas you can measure and know your status. Because if you know your status, you're in a better position to help yourself. The earlier you know if you are infected, then doctor will tell you that we have treatment. It's free and it works very well. Doctor will tell you, but these are simple things that we can do. A lot of us, we are not faithful. We are still not using condoms. And to put on that, we are not testing. And they don't show up until they're at the hospital with AIDS when it could have been prevented with one pill.
I like the A for abstinence, B for being faithful,
Yes.
C for correct condom.
Consistent condom use.
Now you went to testing. That is not D.
That's the no. It's the D.
And add to that, E is to educate yourself.
Educate yourself.
E,
now,
educate yourself.
Before we go to the break, here's the recommendation I'm going to make for you. We have a number of artists within the Federation. And I don't think there'll be any problem getting volunteers to do jingles. The number of recording studios around the Federation, I have one. I have no problem putting that, making it, available. Let's do a jingle. Get artists, both male and female. And we do a number of jingles. That can be a measure of getting information up there. Present in your face, 24/7. You're laughing. Yes. Because this program is so essential and vital to the health of the nation. How frequently can it go on? I want to thank William for allowing us to be here without cost. Okay, because the airways cost. It costs, right? And we're doing this. I am not sure if you can get the same advantage in other stations, but you can get the use of music to get that information out there, okay?
And I like that. Presence in your face as you wind your waist. And I hope that during this music festival, that
I was just about to say that, really.
Go ahead.
Because I feel like for us to really combat this, it takes a multi-sectoral approach. Every sector needs to see the importance and the need of this. When we're having cultural, we should be presented.
Music festival.
When we have music festival, during the carnival, we should put it there at the face of the people. It has not been happening before.
We had a tent there.
We have a tent, but I want to do beyond just the tent and providing condoms. I want a little 5 minutes on the stage.
Up at the Kim Collins?
Yes.
There was a station there where they gave them condoms?
Yes.
And you gave them some right away?
You see, I want to see how we can use the stage, the platform there to reach the thousands of people that will show up, not only in the Federation, those that come in can also know that we are health conscious in this Federation.
That's why I said presence in your face as you wind your waist.
You wind your waist, presence of your face.
She's a lovely sister.
Yes. I'm so pleased to have her.
Have you ever heard her sing?
She's amazing. Trust me. I told her I want to manage her,
Okay.
So we can.
We got about 20 minutes moving up to the midday hour. We're going to pause for a word from our sponsors, and when we return, we'll open up the lines to engage the public. I know they would love to weigh in on this, so we can continue dialogues as we take calls from the public. So, downtown to Caesar.
If you need protection, you'll need one who you Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
When the star them there, we a top man, we take charge. Have no drink and we a shell down ours. Blast like a star with some gallopers. Overdo it, we take it too far. Take charge, take charge.
We are hot gal, we set the trend. Magnum we drink for the top man them. Wine with the style, no stop from spin. Hot blend, back bend, and take charge, take charge.
Magnum tonic wine, the real star them. Take charge, take charge. Must be 18 or older, drink responsibly.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow. Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
And we're back. We have in the studios with us Dr. Offrey. He's from the Ministry of Health Secretariat, and Miss Lucine Pemberton Vaughan. I got it right this time.
Yes.
Right? And we're talking about measures of getting information out there, PSAs, to the public at large, especially younger people, about the prevalence of HIV and AIDS, still very much with us. And we were at the point of discussing getting artists together to do like jingles and so on to help. This is like free, of course, we're assisting. And the lyricist in the studio was saying that she what's with the lines?
I was saying information in your face as you wind your waist.
Or information
in your face as you wind your waist.
So I misunderstood you when I said nobody gonna wind the waist in my face?
Yes.
Okay. The lines are open. For those who want to weigh in on this conversation, this topic, we'll continue our dialogue, but of course, we want to invite people to call in and give their input, suggestions, recommendations, and be aware. Just talk with us. 6620989, 4650889 are numbers that can get you in on the conversation. So in the meantime, Doc, while we wait for our callers, the floor is yours.
Thank you once again. We have dealt a little bit on the non-pharmaceutical approach towards preventing and mitigating the exposure to HIV/AIDS as well as other viral infections. We want to move into the pharmaceutical aspect right now, which is...
Into the what?
The pharmaceutical.
Pharmaceuticals. Okay.
Yes, so we have medication to ensure that your viral load... Whoever has been exposed to HIV can live a long, efficient, productive life. HIV is out there and is still ongoing. And you can only know if you're HIV positive by getting tested. When you're tested, you know your viral load level. However, you know if you are exposed to HIV before HIV moved from HIV to AIDS. Remember, HIV is human immunodeficiency virus, and AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. However, before it moved HIV, what you got exposed to is the HIV, the virus. But when it moves to AIDS, that's when you have opportunistic diseases, so many things that are affecting your body because your immune system is depleted greatly, and as such, you are exposed to other viral infections, something that your body could possibly fight.
Do we have a call? We just lost a call? Okay, caller, you're live on Voices.
Hey, good morning. Good
Sister
morning,
Henry, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning to your HIV
Expert.
personnel. You forgot fire song, put it in a plastic bag.
Yep.
You are paying for that.
That was Sire.
Eh?
Sire, that's right.
Why, sire?
Wrap it in a plastic bag.
Yeah, you know, you should be paid for that song. Now, I want to ask a question. With this free and easy way of access to condoms, what is the minimum age at which you distribute condoms? You got the question?
Yes.
What is the minimum age at which you would give a child or a student condoms?
You understand something? Thank you so much for that question. That is a vital, very important question to ask.
Yeah, because, I mean, once you start to pass them out, so they're not balloons, they're meant to be used. So you're facilitating, while you talk abstinence, you're passing out the condoms to children, I mean, the hormones high. So are you really protecting the children from HIV when you're passing them out? So what is the minimum age? I'll hang up.
Okay, before you go, Doc, first I would like to say that we do not give school children condoms. We, when we go into the schools, we push and we teach and we advocate for abstinence. However, we are aware because school children would have told us that they are engaging in sexual activity. And it would be remiss of us if we just teach abstinence and not let them know the other ways that they can protect themselves. So I might have a teen who is sexually active, but they need not get infected. Because let's face it, we know that we tell our own children abstain. But like us, they have minds of their own. They have minds of their own, and they will do what they want to do. So the next best step is to teach them about prevention. We don't give condoms, but they must know where to access and where to get it from.
If the need arises.
If the need arises. And then...
So you're not really facilitating them or encouraging them.
Right, but we are just helping them to make informed decisions and protect themselves. However, the law states, it's not us, you know, the law said that they can have sex at age 16. That's the age of consent.
I sang a song in Keon on Friday, what was it? Some nights ago, Sunday night. 16 is the age of consent.
Yes, and but look at it. They are allowed to have sex at age 16, and most of them are in school. But they are not allowed to access the health care system for condoms before 18. Doctor, speak to that, please.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Once again, I said that's an amazing question. I want to also reiterate that when we go to the schools, as you stated, we inform the people. We inform the young people, ensuring that they know that what we are letting them do is to prevent, and also use that medium to give them extrinsic motivation and how that can, if they're exposed to the sexual activity, how that can affect them psychologically, how that can affect their school, how that can affect their life if it's done at an early age, as well as how that can have a holistic effect on them as an individual, because they are making ill-informed decision that will affect their long life, span. So that's our approach. Also know this, I have come across so many young men, because sometimes even in the evening, what we do is, in the evening sometimes we just drive to the hotspots and just talk to people.
Really?
Yeah, we do that.
Okay.
We do that. It's not just 9 to 5 work. Our work is just all round. So it depends on the severity of, let's say events. We actually approach things differently. So we lay strategies on how to really attack and get those people that we can, influence as much as we can. So I've met so many young people that don't even know how to use. I'm talking about 19, 20, 21, 22, even 25. They don't know how to use a condom properly. So if you educate those people on time, because there are folks, they won't want to tell their friends that, hey, I don't really know how to use this thing. Oh, I'm a guy, I'm a big man, so they want to do it. And end up, either the condom get bust or it's removed and then predispose themselves to the infection, or not just HIV, but other infections as well. So we educate the people. The lack of information is what actually deteriorates and destroy the people. If you lack knowledge,
we got two things here.
Destructive.
Knowledge is power.
Yes.
and what you don't know can hurt you.
That's the
I know.
What you don't know what?
Can't hurt you.
Use
We
that
grew up
use-
with that. That's
No.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's either you go with
I know.
knowledge is power. I have come across people who say, "Oh, I don't know. I don't want to know about my status. Whatever happened to me, happened to me." But you are putting yourself at
And
risk.
others.
And others at risk. That means you are destructive not only to yourself but also to the people around you. If you get exposed to this, let's say you're exposed to HIV and you don't know, your immune system will be destroyed, and you'll be exposed to that. And if you have children, those children will grow up without a mother or a father. Look at the long-term effect it will have on the federation or in the federation. So it's best that we approach it in a different aspect. So in the aspect of the age, as she has asked the question, we have worked with the youth parliament. They had a youth parliament, and we noticed that I think it was last year or early this year. They had a youth parliament, and that's one of the things that we had to work with them, Scanepa, to ensure that they include that in their presentation. I was actually there in the house where it was discussed, and we see that the government are trying to work towards seeing how they can revise or peruse that law to really, perhaps we can come to a point where we have either they are 16, you are exposed, you're privy to sex, and also privy to protect yourself from exposure, or is 18. So we want a given age that they can be well protected when they're exposed to anything. However, note this: if a person starts being exposed to at age 16, have the privy to sex, in 2 years' time, when they would be privy to acquire or receive medical attention on their own, because not everybody will go to the parent and say, "Hey, I'm now sexually active. How can I protect myself?"
So they would have to go to the parents to get
permission.
The parent have to come with them to get the test done. Also, even we can't
condoms.
even, or to get
There's
the
a
condom. The
disconnect
condom
between
have to
the
be
Right.
signed. Yes. So it is a double standard, and also it's not a proactive approach. It's a reactive approach. So our vision is to be proactive, to really get the people informed and also prevent this. If we work together, as we work together during the COVID-19 vaccine to really have a herd immunity, we can all work together.
I want to
ensure
believe
this
that
is
you would have
achieved.
responded quite adequately to the question posed by Sister Henry.
Yes.
We got about 10 minutes before the midday newscast. If you can call back and give us your response to that response, that'd be great. 6620989, 4660989 for local calls. Father Field from the UK, you got 033-344-0065. From New York City, 718-285-6948. And from Florida, 305-921-4691. Give us a call if you can. If you can get back in after the midday newscast, that'll be great, because this is a very vital topic. The whole issue that you spoke about, you can have sex legally at 16, but you cannot access health care on your own without the parents' permission until you're 18.
Yeah.
We go to the phone lines, call your live on voices.
Greetings, Syrian Highness.
With respect. Welcome to the program.
Extending same to your guest.
Thank you.
Thank you. Greetings.
Okay, the topic. What's the topic again?
We're talking about prevention of HIV infection as well as combating the exposure to HIV.
Yeah, which is sexually transmitted.
Yes.
Okay. And we heard the word sex within the scheme of things, you know,
Yes.
and the age of sex. But you see, the act of sex, the original marriage bond betwixt a man and a woman. It is not the ring and the I do and the blah blah boom boom. It is penis and vagina. That's the only way it becomes one. When you look at a child, you see both father and mother. Two becomes one. Yeah? Ring don't do that. Marriage certificate, etc., etc., etc. Don't do that. So, as we say, that's the original marriage bond. Now, because the church and the state has removed earth inhabitants away from that by saying marriage before sex which is like putting the cat in front of the horse. Earth inhabitants, because of that error, Earth inhabitants had become, most of Earth inhabitants, that is, had become sexual zombies, all ages. And it is sad. Now, acknowledging this mistake and going forward is the way to go. By putting sex forwardly on its pinnacle and not making it and not allowing it to be as it is now. Yeah? And when that is done, therein is the solution. We won't be having to share out condoms. 2 children who don't even... because sex, the sexual act will not even be in their thought, because they will know what it entails, that it is what it is. It is marriage. So therefore, you're not ready to get married, you don't have sex. That's the way it is. So the church and the state, because the state is an accomplice with their certificates, etc., etc., the church and the state, globally, not just St. Kitts and Nevis and the region, globally, have to correct this wrong. And the people have to demand this. The masses have to demand this. Else, they will continue to be sexual zombies within the scheme of things, which is not a pleasant state to be in.
Eli VX, I want to thank you very much for your contribution. We can open the lines for taking next call before we go to the newscast, okay?
Yes. Oh.
Thank
We
you, man.
want to wish you all the best, my brethren, but we have to deal with the thing from the core, from the root.
Got you covered.
Let
Appreciate
it
that.
go.
Okay, any call on the line? Okay, you guys we got about 5 minutes. You can continue.
All right, so I want to go back to indicate that we have HIV treatment, not a cure, but treatment. We have treatment, medications available, and it has been decentralized, that it's accessible. Let's say somebody's found to be positive, they are linked to care by connecting them to a particular doctor that will provide that service to them, that will provide counseling, that also provide the medication readily available for them. And when is it, someone asks, when is it required that I start my treatment? As soon as you were tested positive. Knowing that we are not expecting, we are hoping that your viral load or your CD4 count have not depleted, be below 500. When it's below 500, you are expected to start up your treatment as soon as possible.
And be consistent.
And be consistent with it, with that particular medication, because if there is, when you are not adhering to the treatment, your body produce, a resistance to that particular medication. As such, you will have to be changed to another medication that will be efficient for you.
And we don't have many options.
A lot of options out there. However, we have, based on research, there are some treatments in terms of medication, injectable medication, which is not accessible in the Caribbean region, in the Federation, in fact, the Federation as well as in the OAC state at this particular time. But it is out there. However, in the Federation, we have medication that is free, available, and accessible.
Okay, let's go with that. Free.
Available,
and accessible.
Some of the health centers as well, also, and some of the doctor's offices, we have that available.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about, do you need certain nutrients, or are there certain foods that you should not eat, certain alcohols?
Yes.
Yeah.
In addition to that, those are pharmaceutical aspects towards mitigating or increasing your CD4 count. However, how you can also boost your immune system and also increase your CD4 count, in addition to those medications, you use vitamin C and vitamin D is also based on research necessary.
C and D.
Yes, it also boosts your immune system and also help to increase your CD4 count. And also, with ensuring that you cut down alcohol, smoking, and also exercise. Healthy diet is very essential to boost your immune system and also increase your CD4 count. To ensure that you are viable and strong enough to, your body is strong enough to fight down the virus.
So when a person presents with, say, this system, they're actually identified as there's information, leaflets and stuff. Are the clinics?
We have some leaflets at the clinic and also in the Ministry of Health.
Educational material?
Yes, educational material. We have those available.
Once we test you and we find you positive, then we link you to care.
Yes.
And then from there, your doctor ensures that you get the necessary blood work, and then you would be started on the treatment and follow-up, etc. So you would be in good hands. But the first step is to come in for testing.
2 minutes to speak to stats.
Yes, based on statistics, presently we have, and I will tell you this, the statistics is based on those that have been tested. There are so many persons that have not been tested. And as such, we see that even a turnover of those that have been tested keep testing, and few newer cases of people testing.
So it's on the decline?
So no, it's not on the decline.
Is fewer newer cases?
No, we have about 223 approximately.
Known cases?
Persons. Yes, but I will tell you that you can multiply that to a given number because a lot of persons have not tested, and that is not a good feedback.
So number again?
Aspect. 200.
200 known cases, known cases,
23.
And you may have 223, and you can easily multiply that
roughly by
3 by 5.
Yes.
Well, that's over 1,000.
Yes, so it is actually out there, and the thing is that it ranges from a teenage age to even 76 and more, because people feel like either you're too old, so you're not exposed to it, or you're too young. We have young people being involved in sexual activities, and as such, they are prone to all this infection, and we know that it is rampant in the federation. So we have to be very cautious.
It is
take this
precisely noon, and we do have to break. We have to wait another while because so much important information. We have to break for the midday newscast. I am hoping I can get a miracle out of you guys. Can we continue after and speak to some of the programs we can actually introduce, getting new artists to sign on and do jingles, stuff like that? Please say yes, it's possible, at least one of you, okay? But we do have to break now for the midday newscast, and hopefully we can continue this conversation after. We pause, we knew the midday newscast.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International. By land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
With the WINNFM Midday News, I am Kevon Brown. Our top stories: police investigating suspected suicide of beloved educator Oswald Elliott. 8 bills to be tabled at next meeting of the National Assembly. Vessel traveling from St. Kitts to other Caribbean destinations sank off the coast of Montserrat. Verbal altercation involving Anguilla's Honorable Quincy Gums Marie gone viral. Religious leader calls for her resignation. The Antigua and Barbuda Department of Environment wants the government to require homeowners to have insurance and says it is examining efforts to subsidize the cost. Internationally, the United Nations Human Rights Chief has called on Sudan's generals to stop the senseless violence after clashes were heard in the capital of Khartoum, despite a week-long ceasefire. Now the details. Mr. Oswald Elliott, one of the most renowned and longest-serving English and literature educators in St. Kitts, has passed. The authorities suspect Elliott's passing was a result of suicide. In a statement, the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force said it is investigating the suspected suicide of Elliott following a call for assistance at his residence at Nevis Street, St. Kitts, around 9 a.m. on May 23, 2023. Emergency services found Mr. Elliott inside his home and unresponsive. He was pronounced deceased at the scene. An investigation into the cause of death is ongoing. The police force expressed condolences on the passing of Elliott. In a tribute, the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College posted a short statement on their Facebook page on the passing of Mr. Elliott, who taught at the institution before his retirement. The statement reads, quote, Dr. Tamil Brown, Board Chair, wishes to express condolences on behalf of the Board of Governors to those who loved and respected Mr. Oswald Elliott. Mr. Elliott was the consummate educator with a devotion to academia and his students. He served at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College with distinction. Although he has departed this life, the knowledge he imparted is immortal. Mr. Oswald Elliott received the Star of Merit in 2019 for service in education and the Medal of Honor for Education in 2013. Another tribute on Facebook hailed Elliott as one of the best English literature teachers and homeroom teacher at the Keon High School. Prime Minister the Honourable Dr. Terence Drew, during the next sitting of the National Assembly, will introduce and have read for the first time the Smoking Designated Areas Bill 2023, Drugs Prevention and Abatement of the Misuse and Abuse of Drugs Amendment Bill 2023, and the Rastafari Rights Recognition Bill 2023. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs, the Honourable Garth Wilkin, will introduce and have read for the first time the Nevis Island Administration Civil Proceedings Bill 2023, Crown Proceedings Amendment Bill 2023, Whistleblowers Protection Bill 2023, Unauthorized Disclosure of Official Information Bill 2023, Proceeds of Crime Amendment Bill 2023. The Attorney General will then move the second reading of the Nevis Island Administration Civil Proceedings Bill 2023 and Crown Proceedings Amendment Bill 2023.
The Anti-Corruption Act, Integrity in Public Life Amendment Act, the Freedom of Information Amendment Act, and the Official Gazette Act have been passed and gazetted. An acting ombudsman has been appointed and is seated in office. We are also seeking to recruit a special prosecutor as well as an information commissioner to sit in those important offices. And to complete that process, we'll be presenting to Parliament a Whistleblowers Act as well as an Unauthorized Disclosure of Official Information Act. That will hopefully close the circle so that we can spend the next few weeks educating the civil service, persons on statutory boards, about their rights and responsibilities under this new paradigm of the good governance transformation that this administration is bringing to our country. And so that there will be no excuses when the switch is flicked. Everyone will understand their rights, everybody will understand their responsibilities, and we will be going forward in a sustainable way, in a transparent and accountable way, as has been promised by this administration.
Said the AG during the May 18th Prime Minister's press conference. The Whistleblowers Protection Bill would aim to deter and combat corruption and other improper conduct by encouraging and facilitating disclosures of corrupt acts while protecting anyone who makes the disclosures. In contrast, the unauthorized disclosure of official information will seek to deter and create penalties for the unauthorized disclosure of official government information by public servants and contractors of the government. The sitting of the National Assembly will convene on Thursday, May 25th, 2023 at 10 a.m. A four-member party, which consisted of Captain Basil, a Greece national, and 3 French nationals, were sailing from St. Kitts to Guadeloupe with onward travel to Martinique when the vessel they were aboard began to take in water and eventually sank. The unfortunate incident occurred about 7 nautical miles north of Montserrat early Friday morning, May 19th, 2023. According to a report by the Royal Montserrat Police Force, a rescue party was dispatched to the scene following a mayday call. The vessel, a white yacht 41 feet long, by the name of Palma, was under distress with 5 persons and a dog on board. Information from Montserrat Police also disclosed that the vessel was taking in water at an alarming rate, and the rescued individuals were instructed to abandon the sinking vessel. The MV Heliconia Star took the rescued team back to Port Little Bay. They received immediate medical assistance and were provided with temporary accommodation until their departure to Guadeloupe on May 20th. In regional news, Minister of Parliament in the government of Anguilla, the Honourable Mrs. Quincy Gums Marie, has come under heavy fire following a viral video where she was heard and seen in a display of profanity and threatening language to another individual, Mr. Leon Lake. Minister Gums Marie, as shown in the video, was in the presence of government colleagues, including the Honourable Deanne Kentish Rogers, the Honourable Hayden Hughes, who appeared to be in disagreement with Mr. Lake as well, and the Honourable Merrick Richardson, who attempted to calm the situation down by walking Mr. Lake away. In response to the video, Apostle Lucian McDonough, leader of the Life Impact Centre in West End Anguilla, called for the resignation of Gums Marie from the Parliament.
I've served this nation for over 35 years. I've seen crime rise in Anguilla weekly, monthly, and yearly. And this is very, very concerning. Today, I rise to condemn with great concern the behavior and outbursts by the island-wide elected parliamentarian and member of the government of Anguilla, Miss Quincy Gums Marie. What I saw and heard circulated on a video clip is very, very disturbing, heartbreaking, and unacceptable. We hold our leaders to the highest standard in the office by which they hold. What is most disturbing is just today, violence and crime was discussed within the Anguillan House of Assembly, of which Ms. Gums Marie was one of the presenters. While I try to understand the rationale behind this despicable and mental criminal outburst, it should not be acceptable by the Speaker of the House, the Governor, the Premier, neither by the people of Anguilla. This kind of gangster behavior cannot be a part of the decision making for this country. Whether the minister felt that she was provoked, the choice of word depicts a highly criminal mind and showed no sense of being level-headed or controlled. This do not means or show to us that one have to drink or smoke or do drugs to have a criminal mind. This is why when someone gets killed in this country, we rise to condemn it after the fact. In my view, this need to be condemned right away, and this is what I am doing. The thought to kill and bury someone without any care for those who were listening in a public place, Anguilla, this is not acceptable. Furthermore, fellow Anguillians, what was more disturbing is that there were 3 other members of government present, and did nothing to calm or diffuse the situation, in my view. If this is the mindset of our government leaders, what can we tell our children and the youngsters to whom we are trying to guide away from such violent thoughts? Today, I call upon the Premier, who is a leader of this government, to publicly denounce this behavior. I also believe that Ms. Gomes-Marie should do the right thing and step down. The people of Anguilla should no longer accept you as a person who has no control and is not capable in leading by example. In my view, your behavior gives fuel to further violence and criminal acts in the land of Anguilla. This behavior is very sad, and should not be accepted by anyone who knows better.
Minister Gomes-Marie issued an official statement of regret to the nation on Wednesday morning, May 24th, 2023. Quote, "My fellow Anguillians at home and in the diaspora, my colleagues regionally and internationally, I humbly apologize for my poor choice of words and temporary lapse in composure displayed on Tuesday, 23rd May 2023, when my fellow ministers and I were attacked by Mr. Leon Lake while having lunch. The language used by me was a reflection of the escalated tension of the moment and a direct response to the repeated threats being made on my life. In retrospect, I should have chosen not to match the tone of my attacker. I should have used more appropriate words after every attempt to diffuse the situation failed. You can rest assured that I am reflecting and will grow from this moment. Undoubtedly, while I am regretful of the entire occurrence, I am reminded that to err is human, and I am merely that, before every other title and the expectation that comes with it." Gomes-Marie added the altercation with Mr. Lake occurred after an emotionally charged sitting of the Anguilla House of Assembly, where we made a commitment to focus on tangible and active measures by which we can curb the actions of violence and escalated conflicts now being experienced in different settings and groups. I still hold firm to this commitment and support it wholeheartedly. Yesterday's occurrence was a dark reminder that the liberties and unique access to each other we enjoy in this small community are placed under threat when individuals are allowed to go unchecked and unaccountable for the threats and agitations that permeate our social spaces and airwaves. The anxiety and pressure placed on victims and bystanders, their family members, and the wider community when incidences such as what took place yesterday become a great burden to all. Let us all ensure that we show a bit more grace and temperance in the face of adversity and conflict. As the Royal Anguilla Police Force continues their investigation into the matter, I encourage all to let the emotions of the occurrence subside so we can arrive at a just and amicable resolution, said Honorable Quincy Gums Marie. The Antigua and Barbuda Department of Environment wants the government to require homeowners to have insurance and says it is examining efforts to subsidize the cost. ABS Antigua has that report.
The Chief Environment Officer has been on the front lines of the climate change fight in the areas of adaptation and mitigation. Ambassador Diane Blacklane has recommendations for the government on how the country can be better prepared.
The government should not purchase any more ICE vehicles, we call it. They should only purchase electric vehicles from 2025. That's a direct recommendation that we've sent to our cabinet. So we're waiting for cabinet to deliberate on that.
She said the government could lead by example by starting with its own fleet. The Chief Environment Officer also outlines significant cost savings have already been realized at the DOE from using electric vehicles.
We have about 5 electric vehicles right now. So before we got those vehicles, the government used to give us the cost of the fossil fuel to run one of our vehicles was $600 per month. And now we have the electric vehicle, it costs about $600 a month to run 2 vehicles. So already, just in our small little Department of the Environment, we've saved the government 50%.
Here's another policy change she would want to see.
All Antiguans, every single one of us, must have solar panels on our house, just like and battery system in our home. So just like we are required by law to store water, we should be required by law to store energy and to generate our own energy system.
In addition to storing energy, the Department of Environment wants all homeowners to be required to have insurance.
Now, this is where the political race for our government will be difficult. And that is every single person in Antigua must have insurance for their homes. Right now, that's not a legal requirement. The banks insist on it if you have a mortgage with them. But you have to insist that every single person must purchase insurance, just like how every single person must purchase car insurance. That is what you have to do.
Ambassador Blacklane spoke with us from Germany, where she was attending another high-level meeting on climate change. I asked her about the increased costs for homeowners from this requirement if it were to happen for insurance.
Homeowners will have to pay something. And what we're trying to do here at the Transitional Committee is to make sure that we can get some funds so that we can make sure that we can subsidize some of that cost. And that is why I'm here, because I know how expensive it is.
She says the benefits of these will be immense.
We now bring you these international reports.
Clashes between rival military factions could be heard overnight in parts of Sudan's capital, residents said on Wednesday. And that's despite a week-long ceasefire designed to allow for the delivery of aid and lay the ground for a more lasting truce.
Civilians must be spared, and you must stop this senseless violence now.
In Geneva, the UN's High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, described the situation as heartbreaking.
In spite of successive ceasefires, and they keep making these arrangements, we see that they get observed in their breach almost within hours after these arrangements are signed. We see how civilians continue to be exposed to serious risk of death and injury. I mean, overnight we received reports of fighter jets across Khartoum and clashes in some areas of the city, as well as gunfire heard Khartoum North and in Durman.
Turk also said he was deeply troubled by reports of sexual violence in Khartoum and Darfur. He called on Army Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, leader of the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, to issue clear instructions to those under their command, that there is zero tolerance for sexual violence and that perpetrators of all violations would be held accountable. The ceasefire deal, following Saudi and US-mediated talks, comes after 5 weeks of intense warfare. Previous truces have failed to stop the fighting, which has sent more than 1 million people fleeing their homes and plunged the country deep into a humanitarian crisis.
Now, let's move on to South Africa.
The country is facing its worst ever power crisis as it heads into a bitter southern hemisphere winter with daily blackouts of up to 10 hours a day and fears it could lead to major civil unrest. A BBC investigation has looked into what's behind the power cuts, the corruption, the criminal cartels and the government's alleged complicity, as well as an international effort to move the country off coal and onto renewable energy. Andrew Harding sent this report from Johannesburg.
It is going to be a cold, dark night for many South Africans with stage 6 load shedding.
South Africa is sinking into darkness. Power cuts in Johannesburg for hours every day. The continent's most developed economy can no longer keep the lights on. Gloom spreading through businesses, like this bar, open for the past 25 years.
Because of the power, you have the electricity. You can see now, it's dark.
Are you going to survive in your business?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Next door, a cash transfer company is on the ropes too.
Must be frustrating.
It is very much frustrating.
Do you see an end in sight?
I don't. This is our new life now.
Why such chaos? The answers lie out here in coal country. Almost all South Africa's electricity is generated by burning coal. But the industry is being plundered. Billions of pounds lost to criminal cartels. Mines looted.
Even at night we hear gunshots. Even they are fighting among themselves for this coal.
The different gangs?
Yes.
What's extraordinary is quite how brazen it is. It's happening every day out in the open, in daylight, and no one's stopping it.
With the looting comes sabotage like this at power stations, as ruthless gangs fight to win lucrative maintenance contracts.
Someone pulled a gun on me.
Held it to your head?
Yeah, held it to my head.
Did they threaten your family?
They did. They told me that they're not even afraid of anybody. They're politically connected.
So they're above the law?
Basically.
How to stop the rot? The governing ANC hired this white businessman, Andre de Ruyter, to fix Eskom, the power utility.
This was clearly now an act of sabotage, and I think we can call it as such.
But he soon declared the corruption was just too big and that powerful politicians were involved. Then, last December, he was poisoned, his cup of coffee laced with cyanide. He nearly died.
I started feeling extremely nauseous. At that stage, I was shaking badly. I was literally lying like this and shaking, gasping for air.
But the response from South Africa's ANC government has been sceptical.
I can't give evidence to that.
His doctors say he was poisoned. The tests show he was poisoned with cyanide, rat poisoning.
I can't give evidence to that.
So you don't recognise this picture he's portrayed of an ANC using Eskom as a feeding trough?
No, I don't.
The irony is that vast, sun-blessed South Africa could quickly solve its power crisis by going green. But for now, South Africa remains in the dark. Traffic lights down, corruption out of control. Andrew Harding, BBC News, Johannesburg.
Analysts expect South Africa's central bank to hike its main lending rate on Thursday. For citizens like nail technician Nompumelelo Nkomo in Johannesburg's Alexandra Township, that likely means more pain ahead.
Cost of living is very high. A loaf of bread, my love, is 20 rand.
South Africans have been facing rising food prices driven by the global health crisis and then the war in Ukraine. A power crisis has also hit the economy. Outages, known locally as load shedding, leave many homes and businesses without power for 10 hours a day.
Now it's not helping at all. It's killing our business, especially in a small business. I can't afford a generator. I can't afford a solar, whatever.
The central bank estimates the blackouts will add 0.5 percentage points to headline inflation this year. Annual consumer price inflation is running at over 7%, above the target range of 3 to 6%. In a bid to control inflation, the South African Reserve Bank has hiked its main lending rate 425 basis points since November 2021. But inflation is still running hot. The bank now faces a dilemma: how to keep a lid on inflation without further stifling economic growth. The majority of economists surveyed by Reuters last week said they expect Thursday's rate decision to be a 25 basis points rise to 8%. Keketso Mano is a senior economist at lender First National Bank.
Rates are lifting, are trickling up to levels we haven't seen in a decade, right? So, say for example, there is another hike in May, which some analysts do expect to 8%. That should put further pressure on households. And now it becomes, again, important to distinguish these households, right? Your lower end of the spectrum already under pressure, having to deal with rising inflation, incomes not rising as much, food inflation accounting for a majority of the basket. They're going to feel the pressure there.
Economists say credit demand has been rising as household incomes have not kept up with prices. Higher borrowing costs, they warn, could increase indebtedness. At the same time, the rand has weakened by 10% this year, making imports more expensive in another cost likely to hit South Africans' wallet.
Now to the US, and lawmakers in the state of South Carolina have passed a ban on most abortions after fetal cardiac activity begins, which is around 6 weeks of pregnancy. The vote passed mostly along party lines, but the 3 Republican women in South Carolina's Senate all opposed it, voting with the Democrats. The fiercely contested bill is a revised version of an earlier measure that the South Carolina Supreme Court ruled unconstitutional earlier this year. The ban is expected to be signed into law by Republican Governor Henry McMaster. Our North America correspondent Peter Bowes has more on this.
This will be one of the toughest anti-abortion laws in the country, and it follows the US Supreme Court decision to overturn a woman's constitutional right to have an abortion, sending that decision back to individual states to devise their own laws. And that's the process that we're seeing now happen up and down the country. This particular decision in South Carolina, hotly contested, but the final decision was that abortions will be banned after 6 weeks. 6 weeks being the point at which some women say that they didn't even realise that they were pregnant. Now, there will be exceptions in cases of rape, incest, fetal abnormalities, or if the mother's life is believed to be in danger, but those exceptions will apply only up to 12 weeks. As I say, this was hotly debated. 5 women senators opposed it, 3 of those being Republicans, and one said, "We are not God. We need to let people make decisions for themselves." The state's Republican governor has indicated that he will sign this bill into law, but opponents insist that they will continue fighting it and fighting it in court.
You were listening to the Midday News on WINNFM 98.9. The headlines: police investigating suspected suicide of beloved educator Oswald Elliott. 8 bills to be tabled at next meeting of the National Assembly. Vessel traveling from St. Kitts to other Caribbean destinations sank off the coast of Montserrat. Verbal altercation involving Anguilla's Honorable Quincy Gums Marie gone viral. Religious leader calls for her resignation. The Antigua and Barbuda Department of Environment wants the government to require homeowners to have insurance and says it is examining efforts to subsidize the cost. Internationally, the United Nations Human Rights Chief has called on Sudan's generals to stop the senseless violence after clashes were heard in the capital of Khartoum, despite a week-long ceasefire. Thank you for listening.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Caribou.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Delisle Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
your Horsford Value Mart IGA specials from May 18th to the 31st. And now your Value Club Blue Tag specials. IGA and Essential Everyday Salad Dressings, $10.99. IGA Margarine, just $23.99. IGA and Essential Everyday Frozen Waffles, $10.99. IGA and Essential Everyday Honey Beer Clover, $19.99. Bigelow Teas, $10.99. Suavitel Fabric Softener, $19.99. And now our very low weekly value deals. Nor rice and pasta side dishes, $7.99. Essential Everyday Ketchup, just $4.99. Essential Everyday Instant Oatmeal, $11.99. Hammer Deodorant, $7.99. Centrum Vitamins, $44.99. Extra Liquid Laundry Detergent, $22.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
On my 18th birthday, we got matching
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Supermarket shoppers understand that convenience matters. At Hortsford's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Ample parking and the widest variety matter. At Hortsford's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Clean, spacious aisles and the highest level of customer service all matter. At Hortsford's Value Mart IGA, price matters most. We've renewed our commitment to guarantee the lowest prices in the Federation. Why? Because we understand that in this tough economic environment, price matters most. Shop smart. Shop Value Mart, where price matters most. Farms Estate Nevis and Wellington Road, St. Kitts.
Price matters most.
And we're back. It's still a wonderful Wednesday, and we're here at the studios of WINNMedia Family 98.9. It's after luncheon interlude, so to speak. And we still have with us Dr. Offrey from the Health Secretariat, along with Ms. Lucine Pemberton Vaughan. And they promised to stick around until 1 o'clock, which is just a few minutes from now. We're also standing by to get a call from the EMT workers down there at the circus, Saudi Square, and they're giving free testing, blood pressure testing, heart and all that. So, Mr. Hodge, if you can give me a call, we would like to have you in on this conversation as we continue with our little chat with Dr. Offrey and Lucine. It's all about health. And due to the fact that we have to crunch the rest of our time because you guys have to lunch, the mic is yours. The lines are still open, but the mic is yours.
All right. Thanks a lot once again for having us here. We go straight into a continuation on pharmaceutical approach to reducing or treatment for HIV. And one of the approach to mitigate the prevention or exposure to HIV is PrEP. We have a PEP, which is post-exposure prophylaxis, and we also have PrEP, which is pre-exposure prophylaxis. PEP is used in prevention in case somebody is exposed to HIV infection or feel there's a possible exposure to HIV infection, is given at least 7 hours, towards after the exposure of possible exposure to HIV, thus to prevent the acquisition of HIV. While pre-exposure prophylaxis is a regimen provided for an individual to prevent them from acquiring HIV. It's a pill that you have to take every day.
Every day?
Yes, to prevent the chances of you acquiring HIV. Also, despite the use of that medication, we also suggest and also encourage individuals to still use prevention measures like the use of condoms and also other healthy sexual behaviors.
Okay, are those pills part of the free treatment, or does it have to pay for?
No, those are free, but however, PrEP is what is being used right now. Let's say somebody is involved in sexual act and they feel they are possibly exposed to HIV infection. They are being given PrEP. But PrEP is when the person have a partner that is positive and they take it before the exposure or the exposure to sexual intercourse, and also that to help to prevent the continued exposure to HIV infection. So for PrEP, we don't have PrEP on the island. It's not rolled out yet. It's just an information I'm passing on to the Federation and to the public. And also for PEP, we have it on the island.
Okay. Do we have a call coming in? Okay. Ms. Pemberton?
No, I was just trying to go over what you said. So PrEP is the one that you used before. So PrEP, that's pre, right?
Yes, pre.
Pre-exposure. And then you say PEP is
PEP
post,
is
is
post-exposure,
after.
so you use it.
After you feel that you
are
would have...
exposed to.
So you just want to clarify that the PEP is not the PEP, the money that the government pay, right?
Right.
And the thing is that when you take, like going back to the retroviral medication that have been provided, to bring down the viral load and also boost your CD4 count to be high, which the normal CD4 count range is 500 to 1,500 cells per millimeters. Meters, right? So basically, if your viral load is low, and then the person starts taking the antiretroviral regimen that is provided, medication that is provided to them, it boosts their immune system and also help them to bring down the viral load that it will become undetectable. Undetectable equals untransmittable, but undetectable does not mean it's a cure.
Undetectable
equals
untransmittable.
In other words, it mitigates drastically the chance of you transmitting HIV virus to somebody that is not.
This is an education that the nation should have. Just before the midday newscast, we were speaking about statistics, and there would have been a follow-up question. How are those stats compared to pre-COVID?
Based on COVID, in fact, we had an increase after
COVID, because people were home.
People were home, and after the 14 days lockdown, people came on, went on rampant. And
what you watching, Miss Dog?
I would have thought that while you're home,
I'm a disciplined
and
child.
lockdown, not you.
I'm a disciplined child.
and that creates an avenue for them to make wrong decisions and being very active without taking precautions, and that also led to a little increase.
One of the most compelling ad I saw years ago, it was a child standing in doorway. The father came home. You remember that one?
That's right.
And she asked, "Daddy, what did you bring home?"
Oh no.
She asked, "Daddy, what did you bring home?" Now we're thinking, normally Daddy bring home a toy.
Yeah.
But the question is sold the whole idea. She's there standing. He came home and she asked, "Daddy, what did you bring home?" But during COVID, I was locked down home. I was behaving. The statistics are very important because it's a gauge as to whether the measures that you guys are doing have taken effect or not, or whether people are aware and are complying with the health measures or not. And I think, as I recommended earlier, I know you guys have to run, but I would like for you to put out that appeal to get like-minded persons to get together, artists, whatever, to do jingle. I have contacts of other Calypsonians around the region. I know they'll be glad to lend assistance to this, but locally, you have so many artists who should be happy to come on board and lend assistance in this very vital PSA. So I would leave you guys to reach out to people. You know more people than I. You can start from now. Ask them, give them contact numbers where they can reach you. And we just sit and come up with a formula before we go to the studios, because you need help at every level. And music is one of the better vehicles in terms of outreach. Let's go to the phone line, see what we have. Call your live on Voices.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sister Henny. I'm glad you're back before the young folks left. So the mic is yours.
I'm back. What efforts, if any, are made to serve the most vulnerable? Well, all of us vulnerable. Because some man, they say, "Me rent no way." Y'all never do anything, right?
Let's put me in there.
Never do anything. But a lot of brothels and prostitution and homosexuality, it has increased in this country. What efforts, if any, is being made to contact the persons, invite them to come to be tested or to give them protection? That's one question. The next thing, now I listen to the Catholic radio station, television station, channel 23, and they are against, their religion is against using any form of contraceptives. How do you deal with that? Those are my two questions.
Education.
You want to deal with education? Thank you so much for that question. I think it's very important. I would deal with the key population approach, and my colleague would deal with the aspect of education aspect in terms of the people that see that prevention measures are not a need. For the key population, we have a system that we've put in place. We are working in partnership with them to ensure that their needs are being met, in other words, by providing essential commodities to them, as well as we have trained couple individuals in the organization to be well informed on how to get the test done, and that is done, and the documents as well as information data are being transferred or sent to the ministry, for data collection. And also we have ensured that we provide commodities as well, and we are accessible, available for them to reach out to us, and we also provide training for them as well. In fact, as of last month, I had provide training for the key population organization, where I sensitize them on education based on prevention, based on stigma, based on PrEP and PEP as well. So that information is out there. We are doing our best to provide what is needed for them, and they are working efficiently with us to see that we get that achieved.
Apart from that, Doc, the caller said that we have a lot of sex work that is going on. And those people, I must say that they are very responsible. Yeah. They show up for their condoms and they are tested, so I want to say that that's a plus.
Yeah, in fact, we have more of them in visiting us and giving us calls. And sometimes the night, like in the hot spots, either myself or my colleague or some other persons that work with us, might just drive in that location just to render services to them as we can. So they actually come out to do their testing. They reach out to us for condoms and also other measures in terms of even some time ago had for the sex workers, we had a kind of a workshop education session with them, where we had somebody that speaks a different dialect to really communicate language, to really communicate to them, as in an interpreter, to really interpret whatever information we're passing on to them. We also have created flyers, or we have flyers that are in different language translation, so they can also be well informed. It all boils down to the information, and I will tell you, they are so much involved in taking care of their health, and that's why I would say today that your health is your responsibility, and they are taking the responsibility to the health seriously.
Let's take this call before the good folks leave. Call 11 Voices.
Thanks for taking the call. Okay, family, that answers your question. These people are doing business and they're making sure that they protect themselves.
Precisely.
Of course. The sexual thing, because it is out of context, it coming like a plague, on top of Earth inhabitants, I mean, something as wonderful as sex. Look at what it becomes. So much so that you have to be using this and using that and using tarot the other when you're performing that act, And we say it's only when we go forward to the original purpose of sex, the sexual act, we're going to get it right. Yeah? And the thing is that most of the sex we're going out, most of it is abnormal. You have penis to anal, penis to penis, vagina to vagina. They're mixed down because sex was taken out of its original place and out of its divine context. It's a sacred act betwixt a man and a woman to produce a one or ones that you can see two becomes one, or two becomes two because a twin can come, or two becomes three because triplets can come. You see me? We have to go forward there. What we are doing now is pussyfooting and finding an excuse and dressing up. We have to deal with the core. And remember, we are dealing with a human vibration, you know. And if this get out of hand, it's going to be worse away, you know. Not even condom, not all the other things, them going to stop certain things. We have to reverse this thing here and put forward sex in its rightful place. Sex is marriage. See the hour strike. Blessed love.
Respect. I think we're trying to get a call from Mr. Hodge down at the square where the EMT agents. Caller, you live on Voices.
Hey, Mr. Hodge, how are you doing?
Well, I'm glad you finally got through because the doctor's supposed to leave shortly, and we were hoping to hear from you. This is Mr. Omar Hodge down at the square. He's with the EMT service. So tell us what's going on downtown.
Well, we're actually doing some blood pressure checks. We're doing some glucose checks as well. We're actually talking about some of the equipment that we use and teaching some life-saving skills, CPR, bandaging.
Here's what. I'm going to try to rob the Dr. Offrey and 2 seconds, Dr. Offrey and Ms. Pemberton of 5 minutes. You all health, you know what I mean? So just talk to them because they have to run. And I'm begging them. So just talk to them for me, please. Let us know what's going on.
No problem. I was just admonished. I have free GMR blood pressure checks for the taxi operators that's inside the square. They can come on over. It's free. So come on over, my colleagues. And for everyone, the general public, we're celebrating until Sunday. So come on over to the square. Thank you very much, sir.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay, Hodge to Hodge, over and out. He's also the VP of the Single Saxon Cooperative, so, you know, and yes. So I want to thank you guys for not only accepting the invitation, but being here for the first half of the show. Allowing me to twist to stay up until 1 p.m. is now past that, and for engaging the public, you would have recommended some other persons from various departments to come on the radio. I'd like you to make contact with them for me, give them my digits, so we can have this kind of level of content and discourse on the program. So it's for to wrap up any kind of parting shots and kind of this.
Question, you had answered her.
Other questions, Sylvie?
There's a question.
Ms. Henry, they're going to respond to your question.
About the church?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was going to say that if one's church has a particular stance on something like they said no condom use, you must know your reality. And that's why we say part of the ABCs of prevention, the E is to educate yourself. So you must know your reality, your context. If you want to prevent pregnancy, if you want to prevent an STI, you know what works
for you,
what the science says and research. You know that condoms save lives, so the choice must be yours. For when you would have contracted an STI, it is not the priest who will suffer, it's not the pastor or the elders, it's you. And that area must lie solely with you. It is a choice that you must make for yourself. This whole thing about STI, it boils down to personal responsibility. And whatever we do is always between you and God, us and God.
Well said.
And that's why the good book says wisdom is profitable to direct, as it says that study to show yourself approved, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, but rightly dividing the word of truth. Wisdom is really essential. Your health is not the church responsibility. Your health is not a community responsibility. Your health is your responsibility. Be informed and make a well-informed decision for yourself. It's your responsibility.
Beware the serpents.
Let us know when again we can assist you and support you in the work that you're doing. We here at WINNFM, thank you for being part of this program today, and we'll welcome you back anytime.
Thank you so much.
I want to say, Doc,
Go
before we go, there is a role and a task for everyone. One of the driving forces of this is stigma and discrimination. And anybody who hears anybody stigmatizing or discriminating against any key population, anybody, whether that person is HIV positive, whether it's a man who has sex with man, whether it's a sex worker, they need to stop it. And we can learn to accept individuals for who they are and treat them with respect without condoning their actions. So even persons that want to come forward for testing and for condoms, they are afraid of what the public will say. So sometimes we just simply need to drink water, no? Drink water, right. Mind your business, and teach and encourage that we treat persons how we ourselves would like to be treated. That's my final note.
That's your final note.
Yes.
And my final thing to you is don't wait so long before you come back.
Well,
I know you're always busy.
But look, you called us yesterday. And we're here.
Right, so that is true, but you think you're supposed to call me also? And we went by accident. It was a good call. You did say you're going to contact the doctor and see what he says, and this morning you said yes, both of them. So thank you once again so very, very much.
Thank you.
It's always a good thing to be able to help to educate the population on this vital matter and other issues. So as I said, the list that you compile there, please have them contact us, and we try to facilitate where we can, because the nation health. You're supposed to finish it well.
And it's all our responsibility.
Okay. As we make your exit, we're going to go downtown and give credit to our sponsors, and we'll be back to continue today's conversation with the public. All right? Thank you so very much.
It's tool season at Horswood's Building and Nevis Center on St. Kitts and Nevis. Don't miss out on the year's best time to buy tools. Get 25% off selected tools store-wide. Hundreds of tools on sale. Slash by 25%. 25% off on tools for this tool season at Horswood's Building Center on St. Kitts and Nevis. Horswood's Building and Nevis Centers, the Federation's favorite home improvement stores. Some exclusions apply. See stores for details. By popular demand, there is nothing like a Mama's Love 4-day Mother's Day weekend sale has been extended. It's the Mama's Love Mother's Month-long sale until the last day of May. Show Mama love for the rest of the days in May with 20% off on select items at the Furniture and Appliances Showroom and Ashley Furniture Home Store on St. Kitts, including household items, accessories, small domestic items, and more. Yes, the Mama's Love Mother's Day sale event has been extended until the end of May. Give Mama love with 20% on select items, plus double cashback coupons on higher purchase at the Horswood Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store on St. Kitts. By popular demand, it's the Mama's Love Month of May sale at Horswood's. Show Mama love. Don't miss it. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
So we got probably about 22 minutes before we close down today's chapter of Voices, and of course the first half, and then after the luncheon interlude, we had a little discussion with Dr. Offrey of the Health Secretariat. He was accompanied with Miss Lucine Pemberton Vaughan, and we had quite a little chit chat this morning, and the focus was on HIV and AIDS and the current stats, how things are, still happening in the country, the education that's needed in school level, the programs they're trying to implement, and I think we were very happy to be part of that. We had a call from Mr. Omar Hodge. He's down at the circus. Let's see what this caller have to say. Caller, you're live on Voices. Good, caller, you're live on Voices.
Good afternoon, the King.
Good afternoon, sir. How art thou?
or thou is good without pigeon.
Yeah. You remember the song "The One Pigeon"? Hey, you know what?
Yeah,
Don't let me get you started. Don't let me get you started.
I'm going to tell you, you
Ooh,
must
cuckoo, Ashimande. Yes, Ashimande. Why? You must say,
because you're cool.
yeah, cool. So
You're
what's up?
cooling.
What's up?
Yeah, man, I hear listening and enjoying your program as usual.
I appreciate that.
Now, King Sako, I heard something last night, which I listen to every night to educate myself.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I know something else that I heard a couple months well, and I don't even would like to say that on the radio because it would hamper a lot of businesses. So I just leave that other part there for other people to find out for themselves.
Appreciate that.
It's something that we all as humans consume orally. Food.
Okay.
Now, the fact about this one that I'm going to tell you about, it will come out someday. That I have learned over the years that there is, a fish farming in a country. I'm going to call the country name. And the food that they feed those fish in that aquarium is the waste from a hog. Let me find out that for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But what I heard last night, it is frightening. Frightening. I heard two men, they were speaking about wastage and things that can be made from wastewater. And the three type of wastewater they use, they say they use water from the face basin and water from the shower and water from the wash machine that they use, that they wash clothes in. And you know what they said they do with that water?
We filter.
You come in. And from that water, they make beer. They brew beer with that water. And I said, my God, here for me, a lot of us do not know what we are drinking and eating because we are not seeing it as the manufacturer. So I said, brother, that's why a lot of us have to be careful where we eat, where we drink, and who we eat from. Too much nastiness going on in the world. I mean, why should they use that kind of, I don't care what kind of filter they filter. I don't care what they filter.
There's a purification program that they use on a lot of this the water, even from the septic.
Mm-hmm.
Even from the septic. Some it's let's say purified, and they use as sprinklers on the Gulf Coast in some countries.
I know for sure with that.
But some is reused for domestic supply in some countries around the world where there is a scarcity of water. They employ all these mechanisms to reuse as much as they can.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to say something, and I don't think I'll be careful.
Mm-hmm.
When I go to buy water here on St. Kitts, I buy one. It's local.
Okay.
I trust it. I go to many establishments. I'm not going to call the brand. No. I go to many establishments. I ask them, do you have this particular brand of water? They say, no, we have this. I say, I don't want that.
You're right.
That's foreign, that's imported, that's this, that's that. I drink only XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
I saw last week during the press conference, there were some bottles of water displayed on the table, and the government got hit for using imperial water, and we have our local water here with their choice. If you can't afford it, but I trust my local water. I don't care from where around the world you bring your foreign water. I am not buying that. I am buying only what I know is produced locally that I trust. So one has a choice in terms, once you have the information, we go to the various supermarket shelves and we buy blindly products that's supposed to be this. And I was kind of angered some years ago when the then government of the day shut down all the spigots on the streets and forced people, I won't say force, people now got sophisticated and started to buy bottled water.
Yeah.
But back in the day, you go to the side street spigots or the standpipe, as we call them,
Right.
and we got a water. But as one of the measures imposed by the IMF, you shut down those and you force people to buy and, have indoor plumbing. Okay, it's called progress. But back in the day, you go to those standpipe and you just turn and you drank water right there. Not a problem.
Well, let me tell you something. One time in St. Thomas, there, I was walking over on a beach, and not on the beach. We were doing hyperland on hotel roof, and up there was a hut that I come down and I went by a pipe in the hotel there to drink water, and one of the landscapers tell me, "Hey, no, don't drink that. Don't drink that. No, the water looks so clear, and I don't swallow down two gobble." And when he stopped me, and he come and he tell me what kind of water was that, I went straight to the bar, and I buy 2 big drink of brandy, and I give it the dough.
You try to sterilize it then. Yeah.
I give it the dough and pigeon. You're cool.
But to the point that you call, we do buy a lot of products that we don't really know the history of and how they're made, and we just accept blindly because of marketing. But I don't know, it's just sad. It's just sad.
So, that should give us more encouragement to support local as much as possible.
Precisely.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll give somebody else a chance to get in on the air. So
Good hearing from you, okay?
Okay, King.
Stay healthy. Appreciate that.
Thank you, man, brother.
Okay, and the lines are still open, 662-0989, 466-0989. I want to say I didn't give my shout out this morning to people like Rosemary up there in New York, and she is still having some problems. I'm going to have to reach out again to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs because she's still having problems because her credit is being kind of messed up with the whole shipping thing. And I think that has to be addressed. The items are still waiting to be picked up and shipped to the Federation. So we have a call in line. We go back to the phone lines. Caller, you're live on Voices. Welcome to the program. Oh, the caller, are you there?
Good afternoon, King.
Good afternoon, sir. How about you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Wonderful.
King,
yes, sir.
I had a topic I wanted to discuss this morning, but I'm going to reserve it until another time.
Okay.
But permit me to say something that I observe in all that is going on pertaining to your guests, what they spoke of this morning and the later part of this afternoon, the earlier part of this afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Now, we know that there's an agenda that has been pushed on us, more specifically on the African continent, and it is very wide. It is spreading like wildfire, the LGBTQ agenda. Now, let us examine Christianity, the King, and follow me on this. You and I know that Christianity was brutal from a race of people onto another race of people. Now, while we have evolved, or as we would say, knowledge have increased, let us look at what they are pushing onto our continent, the King. And when I said they, I'm referring to external powers that are pushing their narrative and their agenda and using our own people like Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, whether or not she is aware, she is a part of the system. While Christianity was brutal and we had to accept what was imposed upon us, a people in our own space, today, while the LGBTQ agenda is being pushed, they are telling you that if you don't, sanction will be placed upon you.
Yep.
Now follow me, the King. Sanction. Sanction is anything different to the genocide and the atrocities that they committed at our people, and it was all of their agenda. So we have to look at everything that they're pushing on us. Christianity in their narrative, it was deadly, it was bloody, it was brutal. What different is Christianity with now this new agenda that they are pushing on the royal seed, the King? Let me repeat this. The royal seed, you and me, black, melanated, HUE, M-A-N. King, I hope you're following me on this, because this is deep and this is serious.
I am actually aware of what you're talking about, but I'm letting you speak so other people can hear you.
Yes, I want our people to wake up, because Christianity in their narrative, we have to get rid of that, because we were the first and we had a way of life. We had everything before they invaded our space. And it is no different, Christianity and this new agenda. They have nothing else to push. They will consume themselves in this, their war, the king, their war. Now they want to arrest Putin in August when he arrives on the continent. Let them arrest Putin if they want to arrest him before he comes into South Africa in August. NATO don't need an invitation, because their footprint is there where they have gone. And they don't need to wait till Putin is in South Africa to arrest him. We don't want their war on our continent. And our leaders need to wake up as well. Thank you for hearing me, the King.
Thank you very much for that call. Is in the caller line? Okay. I think the last caller was referring to the policy of the North American, whatever you want to call them. You have the U.S., Canada, and of course England is trying to impose on African leaders. Is there a caller? Okay, let's take this caller. Caller, live on voices. Let's hear you.
King.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Johnny. This is a friend culture.
Okay. Go ahead.
Johnny, I appreciate your concern with the African continent and what they're pushing on African leaders. But Johnny, I am asking you, please go up to Sudan and tell those two generals who are killing innocent people, innocent black people, black Africans, all because each one want to be the ruler. The amount of people already leave Sudan. It is a shame to see that they have to run from their own country. And who causing them to run? Black people. So my brother, Johnny, I am asking you, please, you go up there and tell them, stop it. Because you come from the Caribbean and it doesn't sound right. It ain't so nice, and you come to ask them to please stop it. Okay, Johnny? Thank you very much.
Okay, Culture. I may want to tell you that is also a war of proxy between two competing interests, between the U.S. and Russia. That's what's happening in Sudan is, by all intent, a war of proxy between two competing interests between America and Russia. So there's a story behind the story. They're each backing each different factors for their own personal interests. America is backing a certain faction. The Russians is backing the other. It's like what happened in Vietnam. You know, it's a war of proxy. So do some more research, and you'll find that there are puppeteers outside of what you see daily who are actually orchestrating that war. But that's a different story for a different time, when we have more time to get into it. We got about 6 minutes down before we close the play, and we go back to the phone lines. Call your live on voices. We would have lost a caller. Let's see, there's another one. Caller, your live on voices. Okay. So, yes, I understand Johnny's passion. I also understand your response, but sometimes we need to get more informed. Caller, you're live on voices.
Hey, good afternoon again, Socrates.
Good afternoon,
Good
Sister.
afternoon, Journey.
Okay.
This morning I was listening to a channel. They were talking about narcissism.
Yep.
Where which explains a lot of what my good friend Jody says about the God that is cruel and the God that is wicked. Anyway, I am calling to send condolences to the family of Oswald Elliott.
Yes.
You know, somebody told me, I said, you know, this thing, while some of us may condemn it. Some of us don't reach out to help other people. And the person was talking about cancer and cancer treatment. And I recall when my husband was sick, and I took him to Nevis, to this oncologist, and she said that in St. Kitts and Nevis, we do not provide pain medication for cancer patients. So what they give them cannot deal with the extent of the pain they have. And often when they develop cancer, some of them isolate themselves, and others are forgotten. And so my heart goes out to Oswald, you know.
I'm trying to follow the storyline. I'm trying to follow what you're saying. I'm getting a picture. Because I heard something, but I'm now getting a better understanding of what you're saying.
Yes. Because I'm telling you, Mr. Sylvine, girl, you don't know it is. Pain from morning till night. Well, you know, I can't relate to that.
Right.
Yesterday I got a centipede bite. I thought it was a snake.
Wow.
Pain. And could you imagine that
You gotta watch that.
cancer, the doctor give you up?
You gotta watch that.
And the medication they give you can't even cool the pain.
You gotta watch the centipede bite,
Some of us are quick to criticize people when they commit suicide. You never know what you will do.
The last time I saw Oswald was at the funeral of Professor, just forget the name there. And he was there looking all healed and hearty, etc. But I had no idea that he was a cancer patient. But what you're saying now, I'm getting the gist of what they're saying, that he may have been suicide. And I too have...
You know, and then he lived by himself.
Yes.
You know, you need help. There should be people assigned to people with cancer. Because, as I said the other day, some people choose death rather than this long, drawn-out suffering with nothing to help to ease your pain or to make life better for you. So my heart goes out and my prayers go to all the cancer sufferers, you know. The temptation to end your life is there, but you got to resist. And the doctors have got to do better. Because they send you home to die, you know. Well, just look after them and what. I'm telling you, they say, oh, Mrs. Annie, carry him home and make him comfortable. I mean, what help is that?
That's what they recommend. But as you say, if they don't have the pain relievers, it's really a very excruciating way to pass.
I'm telling you. So, you know, we got to think about it. Dr. Joe, you are internist. So, you know, your patients come and they die. And sometimes people say, well, why do they die so quick? Sometimes people just give up. Some of them don't kill themselves, you know, outright. They just give up. So there is hope. There is hope.
Yeah. On the Saturday bite.
Journey, I am glad I found out where your foundation is. It's nothing new, you know. That is named as one of the heavies. Narcissism. Where you see, that's why you keep harping about the first in Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, and the evil God was in Genesis 1. You know, I found it very interesting. Very interesting. And our African people have got to learn to be more resolute. They apply pressure. You know something? You see, the IMF, I went to the IMF twice. The IMF is on, I think it's 17th Street. The White House on 16th Street. And opposite to the IMF is the World Bank.
Mm-hmm.
With all the pressure they put on other countries, they dare not put them on America. Look at America. America is on the verge of
defaulting,
not being able to pay the debt.
Mm-hmm.
You hear them tell them sell the White House, sell a river, sir?
They told us to collateralize our land and at 17% VAT.
The U.S. have people on the board
of course
of the IMF, and then they come down and they put all kind of pressure, put back on income tax, this and that and that and that. And America, right today, up to now, they don't have the default on the debt.
Correct.
Not a word out of the IMF. So we need strong leaders, strong leaders.
Anyway, before we go, Sister
and we
Henry.
need people who must learn to manage our finances rather than wasting it. Every time you turn around, want the money plane. Zoom is available, you know. But everybody is looking for the free mileage, you know, the free ticket. So we got to do better. All right, then.
All right. We want to wish you and all the other folks who were able to join us today, whether by phone, by internet radio, or listeners, or those who viewed, a very pleasant good afternoon, the rest of Wednesday. Wish you safe. Wish you, what do you call it, how much better day tomorrow. The thing is that I wanted to speak to Ms. Henry about that centipede bite, because I had a friend who was bitten by a centipede on a Sunday night. By the Wednesday, they had amputated her leg. That's nothing to play with. So I know you may still be listening. Pay attention to that centipede bite and make sure that you get the requisite attention so it doesn't complicate matters for you health-wise. Right? Once again, to all our viewers and listeners, I'm hoping to be here again on Friday so we can continue, the national discourse on various topics. So peace, love, and a much better tomorrow.
Hartsford Value Mart IGA specials from May 18th to the 31st.